What's up, guys? Welcome back to my podcast. It is your host, Kaylee Innocent, and today I am here with episode 2 of the podcast. So today we are going to be talking about this book that I have recently started reading, which is called Atomic Habits. I have not finished it yet, but I've read chapters 1 through 14. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about these chapters and how they have affected me and what do I think by Atomic Habits and all these things. So pre-reading the book, so we're going to jump right in, by the way, but pre-reading the book, I have, actually, before we get into that, I'm actually going to do like a quick little like update about life and, just like little updates. So my cousin that was here that I filmed the first episode of the podcast with left. We filmed the first episode, which was called like Girl Talk, Advice, High School, Middle School, all that jazz. It was pretty good, I feel like, for a good first podcast. Yeah. But yeah, so today's the second podcast. So I'm sorry for saying a lot, but I have been like watching a lot of podcasts. I watch a podcast that I watch a lot, I really love and I recommend, which is Fernanda Ramirez, and I feel like I'm gonna like spin off of her way of doing a podcast, but like, add my own little touch and stuff, because you want to be authentic. You don't want to copy. That's something that I also learned from Fernanda Ramirez. So yeah, now we're going to go ahead and jump in. So starting off with pre-reading the book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. Before I read the book, of course, well, I don't know if everybody does this. I actually never did this until recently, but I read I read the whole cover of the book. I read the side of like the spine of the book, and I read the back of the book. Hold up. Okay, so reading the back of the book and everything, everybody has recommended that you read the book and stuff, how it's going to change how you approach your everyday life, Ryan Holiday says, and he also has a best-selling author book. I'm not going to recommend the book because I've never read it, so I don't know. But this book was the number 1 New York Times bestseller. Over 10 million copies were sold of this book, Atomic Habits. And after reading it, I finally see why for the longest time. Well, not after reading it because I haven't finished, but we had the book for like a good month before I read it. And I always wondered, like, why is there like over 10 million copies sold? What is so special about this book? Why do so many people like it? Why do so many people read it and buy it? And reading the book, I now understand why so many people buy it, and I definitely recommend getting this book. It will really change your life, and it will really like set you on a path for a better journey. So pre-reading the book, I thought that I have a little anyways, pre-reading the book, I thought that Atomic Habits, obviously, like me being a 14-year-old girl, I didn't know what Atomic Habits mean, but reading the first chapter is when I found out what Atomic Habits mean. So pre-reading, I didn't know what it was. I'm like, Atomic Habits, like, what is that? So basically, first chapter that I read, it talked about how atomic habits, which are little habits, make a change. So basically, the first chapter was talking about So basically, this whole episode is going to be a spoiler of Atomic Habits. Not too much. I'm going to get into it a little bit in my opinion on certain things and what do I think about them. So the first chapter, Atomic Habits and how they make a change in anybody's, especially my everyday life. So Atomic Habits basically mean little habits, which it basically means like the first chapter. I know I keep I'm trying to find a good way to word it, but basically, so it's talking about how little habits make a bigger change than just having an end goal. So let's say my goal could be like, I don't know, saving enough money to buy like a Louis Vuitton bag, and I'm not doing anything to work up to the goal. But let's say now I'm picking up extra shifts. Now you're working towards a goal even though you don't have one. So basically, chapter 1 was talking about how having like your atomic habits, your little habits. So by the end of the week, I want to save up $500. By the end of the next week, I want to save up $1,000. By the end of the week after that, $2,000, so on and so forth, instead of just having the end goal of wanting to buy a fancy bag or even just having a certain amount of money. So that's what chapter 1 was talking about. And to me, I didn't really I want to start really implementing these things that James Clear talked about in his book. I haven't yet, but I do have. We're going to get into that. So now, chapter 2, how atomic habits have a bigger impact than having an end goal, which was what chapter 1 and 2 was talking about. So pretty much the same thing. Chapter 2, how atomic habit. Chapter 3, the four steps on how a healthy habit can become who you are, which is basically saying, instead of saying, I want to be an athlete, okay, let's say you're overweight, you want to lose weight, or you may not even be overweight, you just aren't happy with your weight and you want to lose weight, or just get in the gym, or just do better for yourself. And instead of saying, oh my God, I want to go to the gym, I want to start a membership and stuff like that, you should say, I am an athlete. I do go to the gym. I'm going to the gym today. Say things that, instead of saying you want to be who you want to be or what you want to be, say you are who you want to be and what you want to be. That way you can trick your mind, and it's going to just make you want to go to the gym, because you're saying that you do go to the gym and you are an athlete, but you're not. So it's going to make you want to. So the cue, craving, response, and reward. So for cue, make it obvious. For craving, make it attractive. Response, make it easy. And reward, make it satisfying. And all the inverse of these steps is how to break an habit. So make it unattractive, make it unobvious, make it unattractive, make it hard. And for your reward, make it unsatisfying. Make it so that you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? That was just so terrible. That's how you break a bad habit. But I'm not going to get too much into it, because I do want to give you guys a chance to go ahead and read the book. This is just a little bit of a teaser to make you want to read the book. Sponsor me, James Clear. Just kidding. But chapter 4, in order to build a good habit or break a bad one, you must acknowledge it. Using the point and calling method is a great way to do so. I didn't really write too much notes on the point and calling method, but I'm assuming that it's so to break a bad habit, I'm assuming you're okay, I smoke every day. Let me stop. So you acknowledge that you're smoking every day, and you actually put in the effort to stop smoking, because in order to, I'm assuming, the point and calling method. So it's okay, let's say let's not use smoking, because that's I don't want to promote that stuff. It's terrible. But let's use overeating. So let's say you're overeating every day and you decide, okay, I want to break this habit. So acknowledge that when you're overeating and be okay, I'm doing it again. I'm overeating. Let me stop. That's the point and calling method. Basically, you're acknowledging what you're doing. You're calling it out, and you're okay, I'm doing it again. I'm not going to do it. That's what that is. Again, I'm not going too much in depth on these, because I want you guys to be able to go. And read the book on your own and really learn these things on your own speed. Okay, moving on to chapter 5. Habit stacking. So after I current habit, I will new habit. Example, after I brush my teeth, I will oil my scalp. Making a behavior, time, and location. I will do 5 squats at 9 p.m. next to my bed. So chapter 5 actually was the longest chapter, I think, in the book, but it had a lot of information in it. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the first part of it, which is habit stacking. So after I brush my teeth, I will oil my scalp. So basically, you do a habit that you do all the time. Let's say every day you wake up and you brush your teeth. After you brush your teeth, you're going to go ahead, after you do your habit that you do all the time, you're going to implement a habit that you want to add. So oiling your scalp every day after you brush your teeth, which is something that you do every day, you're going to oil your scalp, so that brushing your teeth will be associated with oiling your scalp. The second part, which was making a behavior, time, and location. So instead of saying, oh my God, I want to do 5 squats today, don't know when, don't know where, I just want to do it. Instead of doing that, say, I will do 5 squats by my bed at 9 p.m. And honestly, I've started doing that, and that has helped me to not only break bad habits, if I'm using my computer for too long, I'm okay, I'm going to stop at 9 o'clock, or okay, I'm going to stop at 8 o'clock, or whatever the case is. That's helped me break bad habits like using my computer all the time, or build good ones. So yeah. Next, chapter 6, associate different spaces with different habits. So here, every time I sit here is where I do my podcast. So let's say one time I come into this room and I just sit here, I'm going to be motivated to do my podcast because it's so much light in this room. There's so much nice decor in this room, and it's so pretty in here. So it's going to make me it's going to motivate me to film my podcast, because every time I sit here, I'm filming my podcast. So instead of doing your homework on your bed, working on your bed, I don't know, folding clothes on your bed, do everything in different spaces. So do your homework at the dinner table instead. But let's say you just don't have space to do, like you don't have an office. I don't have an office. So instead, do your homework at one chair at the dinner table, eat at another chair, do your other work. Let's say you have a separate job, do it at the dinner table, but at another seat. So associate different spaces with different activities. So only sleep in your bed. I know, because I've been having trouble sleeping at night, and that's because I'm doing so much on my bed. I'm folding my clothes, I'm doing my homework, I'm working, I'm editing for YouTube, all these different things. And it's because I have not associate different spaces with different things, because there's so much that's going on at my bed. So now when it's time to sleep, it's not easy to wind down. So associate different spots instead, so that way you know, okay, as soon as I get in my bed, it's time to sleep. Your body knows, and it's going to be easier to fall asleep. And yeah. Wow. Oh, I thought I was recording for 35 minutes. It's only been 11 minutes. I was about to say, okay. So, example, at my desk, I will do my homework. At one chair of the dinner table, I will read. At another, I will eat. At the couch, I will watch TV and relax. And in my bed, I will only sleep. Which is the example that I gave you guys. Chapter 7. Most of the times, habits are linked to certain actions. If you always smoke while riding a horse, you will most likely stop smoking if you stop riding the horse. This is why some people continue to smoke after rehab. You go to rehab, get cured, and come back home to the same environment, same surroundings which you were in before smoking, which reminds you of smoking, tempts you to smoke, and you're back into the habit of doing so. That was also the example that I think James Clear gave. Chapter 8. Pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Example, after I scroll on Instagram, I will do 5 squats. So after you do an unhealthy habit, that like an easy habit, let's say like every day, I don't know, before you go to bed, you check your phone. So instead of checking your phone, or after you check your phone, I'm going to brush my teeth, or I'm going to oil my hair, or I'm going to read a little bit of Atomic Habits, or just something that you need to do. That way it feels rewarding when you're doing said action that you need to do. Chapter 9. Surround yourself with a group that has something you like to do, something you already do, so that you already fit in, but then you pick up on the new traits. So that was James Clear actually used this example that I'm going to use too. He used the example of going to the gym. So let's say you go to a gym and everybody at the gym works out, I don't know, every day, but then they also eat healthy. So let's say you're already eating healthy, but you never went to the gym. So you're going to be more likely to go to the gym every day because you guys already have something in common, which is eating healthy. So that's the example that James Clear used. So for chapter 10, I didn't write anything. For chapter 11, I didn't write anything. And for chapter 12, I wrote quality over quantity. And basically, I'm actually going to go ahead and read the chapter summary for chapter 12 for you guys, because I have no idea what that means. I've been trying to, like, at first, as you guys can see, I gave very detailed, but towards the end of writing, I got a little bit lazy, but I'm going to start writing more as if I'm trying to give somebody a summary that doesn't want to read Atomic Habits. Okay, so chapter 12 summary, it says, human behavior follows the law of least effort. We will naturally gravitate towards the option that requires the least amount of work. Create an environment where doing the right thing is as easy as possible. Reduce the friction associated with good behaviors. When friction is low, habits are easy. Increase the friction associated with bad behaviors. When friction is too high, habits are difficult. Prime your environment to make future actions easier. So basically, habits that you want to do, so make bad habits harder to do. So let's say scrolling on my phone, put your phone in like all the way across the house in another room, maybe in the garage, so that it's so hard for you to go get your phone and to go scroll on Instagram, and then put your toothbrush right by your bed. Put your hair grease right by your bed, and it's going to be easier to grease your scalp than to go scroll on Instagram because your phone is all the way across the room in the garage. You've locked the door, so now you have to go find the key and do all these things. So scrolling on Instagram is going to be so hard, but oiling your hair, brushing your teeth is going to be so easy. So that is what chapter 12 was talking about. Chapter 13, the 2-minute rule. I'm going to read the chapter summary to you guys because 13 is my favorite chapter. I really love the 2-minute rule. And I'm going to... Okay, so the little, like, the name of this chapter was how to stop procrastinating by using the 2-minute rule. I really love this chapter. It's my favorite, but I'm going to read you guys the chapter summary anyways, so you guys can kind of get your own little hang of what the 2-minute rule is. So, habits can be completed in a few seconds, but continue to impact your behavior for minutes or hours afterward. Many habits occur at decisive moments, choices that are like a fork in the road and either send you in one direction of a productive day or an unproductive one. The 2-minute rule states when you do a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. The more you ritualize the beginning of the process, the more likely it becomes that you can slip into the state of deep focus that is required to do great things. Standardize before you optimize. You can't improve a habit that doesn't exist. So basically, you don't want to say, every day I'm going to brush my teeth for 5 minutes when you've never brushed your teeth before. So instead, any habit, like it said, any new habit that you want to start, make it 2 minutes. It can't be over 2 minutes. Like, I've been wanting to do Duolingo every day. So and I want to start working out more too. I actually stopped working out because I've liked the progress that came. So I just stopped, which is not good. So now I'm going to work out for 2 minutes every day. Do Duolingo for 2 minutes every day. And by the time, you have to stop yourself. Because if you want to keep going, you're going to break the habit, because tomorrow you'll be like, well, I did so much Duolingo yesterday, I don't have to do any today. So instead, every day, do a little bit, and you can grow more. So now I've got fluent at doing it 2 minutes every day. You can bump it up to 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, so on and so forth. And next thing you know, you have a new habit. So that is what chapter 13 was talking about. So for chapter 14, I don't have anything written down either. So I'm actually going to... Did I even read chapter 14? Am I on it? No, I'm on chapter 15. Okay, so I'm going to read you guys the chapter summary of chapter 15. So the chapter summary says the inversion of third law behavior change is make it difficult. Remember when I told you guys that? It's somewhere there. Make it attractive, make it difficult, or make it satisfying, make it difficult. So the inversion of the third law behavior is to change is to make it difficult. A commitment device is a choice you make in the present that locks in better behavior in the future. The ultimate way to lock in future behavior is to automate your habits. One-time choices like buying a better mattress or enrolling in an automatic savings plan are single actions that automate your future habits and deliver increasing returns over time. Using technology to automate your habits is the most reliable and efficient way to guarantee the right behavior. So that was the chapter summary for number 14. Chapter 14 wasn't my favorite chapter. But I am going into chapter 15, which is the cardinal rule of behavior change. So I am more than halfway through the book. I think the book has about 28 chapters. Let me see. The book has exactly 20 chapters, and I'm on chapter 15. So I hope I'm not wrong. I don't want to be wrong. I think the book has about 20 chapters. But yeah. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. But the book has about 20 chapters, and I'm on chapter 15. So I'm literally almost done with the book. And then I'm going to start reading Psychology of Money. So after Atomic Habits, I'm going to do a big episode on what the whole book was about. What did it mean to me? And if you didn't read it, you probably will not be able to watch that if you're planning on reading it, because it's gonna like spoil everything. So I wanted to just give you guys like a brief overview on each chapter 1 through chapter 14. And if you guys want to get a deeper, brief overview, you can actually go and read the chapter summaries and stuff. The beginning of the book, it actually gets, I'm not going to lie, you have to stick with it. But James Clear is talking about how he lived in I don't know if it was a bad neighborhood or not, I don't remember. But like his sophomore year of high school, he was hit with a baseball bat and he got into a coma. And then his sister, I think, got cancer. And sooner or later, he wrote his book, got rich. No, that's not what it was. I don't remember. But the beginning of the book was a little confusing. I'm not going to lie. I might reread it, but you have to really stick with it. So I'm not going to lie. Also, the book is kind of more on the mature side. I know I'm 14, but a lot of people tell me that, not to, to my own horn, but a lot of people tell me that I'm really mature for my age. So I'm like, you know what? And a lot of people did tell me too that Atomic Habits was a little bit more on the mature side. It does talk about things that may not be too PG-13, maybe more like PG-14. I don't know. But the book, it's just, definitely don't read it if you are underage and your parents don't allow you to read certain things like that. But me and my mom, trust me, we have a relationship that people don't typically have with their mothers. So we talked about it, what was in the book, and we moved on from it. So yeah, that's about Atomic Habits. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit too. So I actually have a little bit, like I have a notes app on, not notes app, I have a notes like page on my laptop. It's also on my phone because it's linked by iCloud, but I have it to basically talk about like the book and everything like that. So I definitely also recommend you guys to journal about the book because it is a very good book, and it's harder to understand any book if you don't journal about it and analyze and stuff. So I'm actually going to go ahead and read back the chapters that I did not read that are empty. I didn't write like a summary about. So chapters 10 through 14, after I'm done reading the book, I'm going to read those again because they weren't like 12 and 13. I didn't really write a good summary or a little thing about it. It's basically like not even a summary. It's like a 2 to 3 sentence about what the chapter was about. I'm sorry, I had to burp. But yeah, so I'm actually going to go ahead and just wrap the podcast episode up here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and let me know if you guys like these videos so I can continue making more. I really love doing this. I never realized how much I would like doing podcasts. As an impulsive thought, I was just like, let me just make a podcast. I actually didn't make a separate channel, but I'm like, let me just start filming podcasts. I didn't know how it was going to work. I didn't know how I was going to use a mic, but things at home, another phone, your phone, a ring light, it's not that hard to start a podcast. So if you guys actually want to start a podcast, this is your sign too, because I'm starting off and I'm not doing that great. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to keep hoping, keep your hopes up also for anybody else who needs to hear this. And one day, even if podcast isn't my calling, I would never know if I don't try. So I hope to see you guys in the next episode. Also, watch Fernanda Ramirez. She's the best, okay? I love her so much. She's all I watch. She actually has a new episode. I did not watch it yet, but it was how to romanticize dark days because, winter and everything like that. But anyways, that's enough talking. I'm going to see you guys in the next episode. I love you guys so much, and do not forget to subscribe like I said a million times. Bye, guys.